Got Sarah Pooley here, who's the campus dean and associate professor at the University of Law, and she's going to be running the session today. So over to you, Sarah.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's my great pleasure to be with you today to talk to you about the new Solicitors Qualifying Examination and the preparatory courses for that examination, as well as the conversion courses that we have new to our portfolio from September 2021. So before I get going on that, I really want to make clear really how sort of far-flung we are at the University of Law, insofar as we've got numerous campuses, so we really can sort of fit around what suits you best. So in terms of our own campuses, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, we have campuses up in the north of England, in Manchester and Leeds, Birmingham and Nottingham in the Midlands, and then our two London campuses, London Bloomsbury in the West End and London Moorgate in the City of London, then Bristol and Guildford, where I'm based. We also have, and are very proud to have, partnerships with some really good universities across the country. And what this means is that we are delivering the same courses that we deliver at our own campuses at our partner institutions, and you can see them listed there. So we have the University of Reading, and I am Dean of both Guildford and delivery at the University of Reading. We're also delivering out of the University of Liverpool, the University of East Anglia, which is based in Norwich, the University of Sheffield, and the University of Exeter. And so new that it didn't make it to the slide, announced yesterday, we are also delivering out of the University of Newcastle up there in the northeast. So we are very widely spread across the country. And we also have been around a long while. So we've got a really good history. We started in the 1870s. And what that means is that we are incredibly well respected and very large as a legal education provider in the UK. And along the way, we have obviously managed to accrue a large number of alumni. And of course, the journey is not over for our students at the end of the course, because we hope that they join this alumni network. But what this means for those that join us as students is that out there are a substantial number of legal alumni who are working in the profession and in other businesses. So what it means is that when University of Law graduates go out for interviews, then chances are that somebody on the other side of that panel, when you're going for an interview, perhaps about qualifying work experience, chances are that they were actually trained by the University of Law themselves. And we've got some interesting alumni on the slide. I'm just going to mention a couple. Sadiq Khan, you can see there on the right-hand side. He is currently Mayor of London. He is one of our alumni. And then at the bottom, we have Caroline Kenny, who is one of the legal counsel at Facebook in London. And she's one of my alumni, in that she was at the Guildford campus and came back quite recently to talk to students about what it's like to be in-house, and in particular at Facebook as legal counsel. So good alumni base, and that's good news for our students. Thinking now about the firms more broadly, we work very closely with law firms across the entire country. We're very pleased and proud to have these contacts with these top law firms. And what this means is that we are either delivering exclusively current courses to particular firms. They've exclusive tie-up with us, so all their prospective trainees come through the University of Law. An example of that would be Linklaters and CMS McKenna, Cameron McKenna, and also firms like Irwin Mitchell, who are national, and then also regional firms. So here I'm thinking about someone like Charles Russell Speechley. They're based in London, but equally they have offices in the southeast, including Guildford. So they're very closely tied with the Guildford campus. So we are delivering programs to these firms, whether that is at the level that you're at, or indeed at professional development level, so to their qualified lawyers. We also have excellent connections with them in terms of our careers offering, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But what this means for students is that these law firms are happy to come in and to talk to students, to get involved in law fairs or employer talks and networking events, and to offer the benefit of their experience to our students, which I'm sure you'll agree is a huge advantage for those students. But my job today is to talk to you about the new portfolio of courses that we have in order to be able to help people into the legal profession, and in particular the solicitor's profession. So what's on the slide now is a very broad roadmap about how you get into the legal profession, either as a barrister or as a solicitor in this jurisdiction. So on the far left-hand side of the slide, I mean, either somebody is coming to this slide with a law degree or they are not. They don't have a degree in law, and that was me once. I didn't have a degree in law, I had a history degree. So I then needed to embark upon a conversion course in order to get onto this road to qualify as a solicitor, which I did, and then subsequently worked for a Magic Circle firm in London. So looking then at this slide, if you are arriving effectively to this with no law degree, like I did, well then, how are you going to get into the bar or the solicitor's profession? Well, let's take the bar first of all. The bar, so to be a barrister, it is compulsory for you to have either a law degree or a law conversion. So you must take one of the law conversion courses, followed by the bar practice course. And at the end of that, you're entitled to call yourself a barrister, but you can't practice until you've had your 1 year work experience, effectively, your 1 year pupillage, 6 months, 6 months observing, effectively non-practicing, and then 6 months practicing. And at the end of that, you're a qualified barrister, and hopefully you're kept on, you get to gain tenancy, and now you can have your own caseload. But let's go along the top and look at the solicitors. So there's been a lot of change in the solicitor's profession. And as a result of this, the Solicitors Regulation Authority have introduced new centralised assessments. And you can see they're there on the purple route, SQE1 and SQE2. So Solicitors Qualifying Examination Stage 1 and Stage 2. And what these are central assessments that need to be passed now in order for you to be from September 2021, in order for you to be a solicitor in the jurisdiction. So what does this mean? It means that in SQE1, you are going to be assessed on the subjects that appear in a conversion course or a law degree, as well as new subjects that appear in the SQE1 that are going to be part of the SQE1 preparation courses or our new LLM legal practice. So in SQE1, that is a knowledge assessment. You go to a central assessment venue and sit the central assessment. It's an online multiple choice assessment over 2 days, closed book assessment over 2 days. And then once you have passed, and not until you have passed SQE1, you can then attempt SQE2, which is a skills assessment. It assesses over 5 days. It assesses 6 skills over 5 knowledge areas. So those are the 2 assessments. And in order to get yourself ready for that, there are no prescribed preparation courses, but knowing as I do what the syllabus is for these 2 assessments and seeing the practice papers, the specimen papers on the Solicitors Regulation Authority website, I can assure you that it's going to be incredibly challenging to pass these assessments without undertaking preparation courses. And if you're arriving without a law degree, that means some sort of conversion course, which we'll look at a moment. And then if you've got a law degree, you'll need some sort of SQE1 or 2 preparation course. But if you're a non-law graduate, you're going to need both conversion and SQE preparation course. Okay, on we go. So let's home in now on the conversion courses. Can I just ask, I think there's somebody there who's not on mute. Can I ask you to go on mute? Please. Thank you. Okay, so the conversion courses then. So this is for people who, like me, haven't got back in the day, haven't got a law degree. So you need to take one of these courses to get into the bar. And although the SRA don't prescribe these courses, if you want to become a solicitor, it is going to be very challenging indeed to pass SQE1 without having done this conversion course. And in addition, I must say, it's not just about, is it getting over the hurdle of the SRA's exam? It's about having the knowledge that an employer would want. And I think any employer, certainly the ones I speak to, would expect an incoming trainee into their firm to have either a law degree or a conversion course. So here they are, and we can look at them in a bit more detail, but there is a new postgraduate diploma in law, a PGDL, and this is effectively the successor to our old conversion course, the GDL, the Graduate Diploma in Law. There is also now an MA Law conversion, so that is the PGDL with additional modules that raises it to a level 7 master's qualification. There is an MA Law SQE1, which is the PGDL, but with an SQE1 factored into it, which raises it up to a master's level qualification. And then there is a much quicker and more basic course called SQE Law Essentials. So let's home in a little bit more and compare and contrast. Where do these courses take you? What job can they do? Well, let's just look then at the first two, the PGDL and the MA Law conversion. Well, both of those courses will work for the bar. So if you are thinking, I want to be a barrister, you would need to undertake either the PGDL or the MA Law conversion. Both of those would work for the bar. If you are interested in the solicitor's profession, well then, in terms of the PGDL and the MA Law conversion, well then they will take you on to the solicitor's profession. They will take you on to our new LLM in legal practice, which has the preparation course for SQE1 and SQE2 encompassed in it. And then also the PGDL and MA Law conversion will also take you on just to the ordinary sort of SQE1 and 2 prep courses. So that is the SQE1 and SQE2 preparation courses without the extra master's modules. The MA Law SQE1, because as part of that, you're doing the preparation for SQE1, that is setting you up for SQE2. So in other words, that's the progression there. The MA Law SQE1 is not a course you would do if you wanted to be a barrister. And then finally, SQE Legal Essentials, what will that do? Well, it will get you to a position where you can move on to the LLM legal practice or the SQE1 and 2 prep courses. But I'll talk a little bit more about this shortly, but it is a very bare bones course. So it is really aimed at people who already have a grounding in the law of England and Wales and are merely brushing it up in readiness for the SQE. Okay, so what goes on in a law conversion course then? So if you're doing the PGDL or the MA Law conversion, this is what you can expect. Everything that's on this slide you can expect in your conversion course. So in there are these key foundation subjects that all law firms are expecting you to come with. This is a given for them. You know, they're expecting every single person through the door. And indeed, every barrister's chamber is thinking every person through the door must have these foundation subjects. And they are contract law, so the law of agreements, the law of binding agreements. So you learn how to make a binding agreement. What happens when there's a breach of that agreement? How do you get a remedy? Tort law. So this is the law of wrongs. This is how we are able to get compensation if we are if we're hurt in some way, we suffer some sort of damage. So, for example, negligence might lead to us being involved in a road traffic accident and we are injured. That would be tort. Or we are defamed and so our reputation is damaged. That would be tort. Defamation is a part of tort. You would also study the English legal system, ELS, and constitutional law. So this is how we make law in this jurisdiction. So we learn about, the Houses of Parliament and how the House of Commons and the House of Lords operate to make the law. We also learn about how statutes are passed, but also what about case law? All of that is within ELS and constitutional law. Criminal law, everyone thinks they know something about that. They watch the TV shows. So criminal law, of course, is an area of law where the state sets the level of appropriate behavior, don't they? The laws are there. If you step outside them, criminal law, well, then you're studying what would make a crime and indeed what the punishment would be if you were indeed in breach of those statutes. Real estate is about the ownership of land, real property in this jurisdiction, which is very peculiar and very unlike a lot of other jurisdictions. So it's how you own property, various property rights, how you transfer it. Equity and trust is my subject. So very few people come to a conversion course or a law degree knowing something about equity and trust. Equity and trust arises in relation to, for example, the law of succession. So how do you leave your property when you die? But also it covers trust. So how you hold property in a sophisticated mechanism called a trust, which has tax advantages. And for instance, you look at particular types of trusts like charities or pension funds. Administrative law and human rights. So administrative law is sort of an element of public law. So this is our relationship with state bodies, local authorities, or perhaps the police. So for example, if you were arrested in this jurisdiction, why you were arrested is a matter of criminal law. But how you were treated at the police station is a matter of administrative law. It's about our relationship with the state body of the police. And also human rights are covered in that particular module. So those are the key foundation subjects that any law firm is expecting you to have under your belt. And all of our conversion courses deliver those subjects. It's just that the PGDL and the MA Law also have skills and behaviours, extra modules on skills like legal writing and behaviours. And also will assist you with getting used to single best answers, the sort of multiple choice questions that will crop up in the Solicitors Qualifying Examination, for example. And then our PGDL and our MA Law conversion also have the option of law of organisation. So an opportunity there to really spread your wings and learn about company law and business vehicles, which sort of levels up the playing field really with law degree students who normally have an opportunity to have an option to study that. Can we make sure everybody's on mute, please? Somebody isn't on mute. Could you please put yourself on mute? Thank you very much. Okay. So what route is best for you? Because that's quite a lot of information, isn't it, to take on board? Okay, well, let's home in now on the, first of all, on the PGDL and the MA Law conversion. Well, I think I've alluded to this already. I mean, it's delivering, isn't it? You know, both of these courses delivering these, not just the core modules, the core legal modules that you must have under your belt to really make a success of this profession, but also key intellectual and professional skills. So the ability to be able to research, legal research, and then analyze the law that you have managed to find and apply it to your particular circumstances. So apply it to problem solve, or indeed to research and critically analyze legal commentators so that you can, you know, put critical evaluation into your legal essays. So these are the key skills that enable you to progress as a lawyer. So key elements then of the course. In addition, for the MA Law conversion, there are some extra additional modules that really start to sort of flesh out your legal knowledge and give you the sort of extra knowledge base that an undergraduate who's done a law degree would have. So there's an opportunity to study for a Master's Award by way of optional modules that would really stretch you. Things like, for example, civil litigation or corporate governance, that sort of thing, you know, to really sort of stretch your knowledge. And then, so what, you know, who is going down this route, this PGDL MA Law conversion route? Well, it's really ideal for people who want, you know, a really strong foundation in legal knowledge and legal skills, so that it's not just a question of ticking a box and passing exams. It's really being able to showcase knowledge and skills to a future employer. What about the MA Law SQE? Well, this is rather different in that it has got your sort of PGDL in there. So you've got your core legal modules that we spoke about and key skills and behaviours, but it's also amalgamated with our new preparation course for the SQE1, the Solicitors Qualifying Examination Stage 1. So this is not a course for a barrister. This is a course for somebody who wants to be a solicitor. So you're going to gain the knowledge necessary, not just to get the foundation subjects under your belt, but also so that you're in a position to sit SQE1. So not just the foundation subjects, but new areas of law, business law and practice, real estate, which is basically conveyancing, dispute resolution, solicitors' accounts, wills, probate and administration, taxation law, professional conduct. So a whole new set of subject areas that you will get under your belt by way of the SQE1 element of this course. You don't get the extra additional academic modules, but what you're getting instead to raise this course to master's level is this SQE1 preparation. So this is best suited to people who want a master's level qualification, but really want to also gain a conversion course and move swiftly to their SQE1 exams. What about then our SQE Law Essentials course? Well, this is really rather different. And I think the key thing here is that it's really aimed at people, who want to progress quickly to the SQE exams, but people who already have some sort of legal knowledge of England, the law in England and Wales. So it's a short, exclusively online course. It's delivering, do you remember, just those key legal knowledge modules? It doesn't have the extra sort of, skills and behaviours, and any sort of extra modules like law organizations. It's about getting those 7 modules sort of brushed up. You've already got some knowledge, let's brush them up ready for SQE1. It's flexible because it's online, and it has all the extra tutor support you would expect, but doesn't have all the extras that really enhance the PGDL and the MA law courses. So bringing that together for a compare and contrast. So entry requirements, just notice that the PGDL, the MA Law and the Conversion and MA Law SQE1 have an entrance requirement of a 2-2. So in terms of a UK degree, that is a second class degree, lower second class degree. But the SQE Legal Essentials course has no entry requirement, although the SRA, Solicitors Regulation Authority, require all solicitors to have a degree. How can you study these courses? They're all available online, but notice that as we've said, the SQE Legal Essentials is the one that is solely online. The others have face-to-face delivery at all our campuses that I showed you earlier. Start dates tend to be October, whether it's full-time or part-time, apart from the SQE Legal Essentials, which has a May start date for the full-time and a July one for the part-time. Comparing course lengths. So the PGDL is really the sort of, if you like, the sort of starting position here. And that is very much the sort of, as we've said, the successor to our highly successful conversion course that we've been running over many, many years called the Graduate Diploma in Law. And it is the same length as that course. It is 9 months full-time, 16 months part-time. The MA Law Conversion has these extra modules to raise it up to master's level. So it's 10 months full-time, 19 months part-time. The MA Law SQE1 is longer because, of course, it has the SQE1 prep course tacked onto it, effectively built into it. So 12 months full-time and then 15 months for the MA and 6 months for the SQE1 part-time. And then the Solicitors Qualifying Examination Legal Essentials course is very fast and furious. So you can really see the difference here now, can't you? It's a 10-week course, so a world away from the depth of knowledge and skills that would be delivered in the PGDL or the MA courses. It's a 10-week course, really aimed at brushing up existing legal knowledge, and a part-time 16-week course. You can see the study hours there, and they are consistent across those courses, 40 to 45 hours a week full-time, 20 to 22 hours part-time. And that's because that's not just class time, that's a combination of class time and preparation time. So there's quite a lot of that is to do with your study time at, when you're working through preparatory reading, preparatory activities, ready to come to fully engage when you attend your face-to-face or online teaching. So that covers off the conversion. So now let's look more broadly at sort of that latter half of our route being a solicitor. So ignoring the bar now, we're focusing on the solicitor's profession, and we are assuming, as you can see, that you've got an undergraduate law degree, or like me, you've done some sort of conversion. And certainly, if you want to go down the old route, which is the top line here, the purple line, the old transitional route, requires you to have an undergraduate law degree or a law conversion in order to do the legal practice course and a 2-year training contract to become a solicitor. Now, you can only keep going on this old route if you have started your undergraduate law degree in the UK prior to the 21st of September 2021, or you have accepted, been offered and accepted a place on a law conversion, an old style law conversion, a GDL, in the jurisdiction before the 31st of August 2021. So you're only allowed to continue on the old route if you've done that. So I'm going to focus on the new route. And the new route is that if you don't fit into the transitional arrangements, or you do, but you'd rather go down the new route, well, then you're coming along our sort of blue route here at the bottom of the slide. And what this means is that in order to be a solicitor, you must pass Solicitors Qualifying Examination Stage 1, SQE1, and Solicitors Qualifying Examination Stage 2, SQE2. So knowledge is Stage 1, skills Stage 2. You also must complete 2 years qualifying work experience. So this is rather like a 2-year training contract, except that it's very flexible. So the work experience can happen before you do any SQE examinations, in between SQE1 and SQE2, or afterwards, rather like the training contract. So it's very flexible. And you can gain 2 years qualifying work experience in up to 4 institutions as well. But do be careful with that. A lot of law firms are saying that actually they would just see what qualifying work experience gained elsewhere as an example of you being, proactive and getting out there and getting work experience, and that's good for your CV, but they wouldn't count it towards the 2 years qualifying work experience with them because they want you to be trained in their way. So that's just a caveat on that. Okay, but in order to get to your SQE1 and SQE2, remember, you don't have to do a preparatory course, but having seen the questions, and there are specimen questions on the Solicitors Regulation Authority website, I can assure you that it's going to be very challenging to pass that unless you have done a preparation course, because the SQE1 is going to assess your foundation subjects from your undergraduate law degree or your law conversion. So you need one of those under your belt to tackle those. And then you need to attend a preparatory course in order to put yourself in a position where you can answer the rest of the questions, which are drawn from areas not covered on a law degree or a law conversion. Well, let's drill down a little bit more. We've discussed the legal practice course. It's fading away now, and certainly will have gone by 2032, definitely, and probably by the mid-2020s. So we're homing in on the new course. So let me now talk about these preparatory courses that are going to get you in a position to be successful in the new centralised SQE1 and SQE2 assessments. So the LLM legal practice and our standalone SQE prep courses. So here they all are. Here's the full portfolio of courses that we have on offer to get you ready to be successful in those centralised assessments. So our sort of flagship course, and I'll talk more about this in a moment, is our LLM in legal practice. It's a master's course, and it's got the SQE1 and SQE2 prep courses in it. And then rather like, almost like Lego, if you know Lego, well then you can actually pull various bits of this course out and buy it separately. So you could just buy the SQE1 prep course standalone, or the SQE2 prep course standalone. And then we also have 2 short SQE1 exam prep course and an SQE2 exam prep course, which is very much a revision and get yourself ready for the exam. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So sort of let's get a comparison going again. So how about entry requirements? Well, the LLM in legal practice, well, that has, as we've said, SQE1 and SQE2 in it, and it has a 2-2 entrance requirement. So you require a 2-2 in your undergraduate degree. The SQE1 and 2 prep courses They don't have entry requirements as such, but as we've discussed, it's going to be very challenging to make a success of the SQE 1 and 2 examinations without having the knowledge that comes from an undergraduate law degree or a conversion course. So knowledge of the 7 foundation subjects effectively from a law degree or conversion course, really a prerequisite for those courses. Study modes, well, they're all available online and also face-to-face at all our campuses. And start dates vary, but full-time, it's an August start date for the LLM and SQE1. And the reason for that is both of those courses are setting you up ready for SQE1 examination number 1, and that is in November 2021. So in order to be ready for that November exam, you've got to start in August. The SQE2 first exam is in April 22, and that's why the SQE2 prep course starts in February. And then you have the part-time dates there too. So January for the first 2 and then May for SQE2. So what about the course content here? Well, the LLM in legal practice, as we say, are very much our flagship program. Well, that is at master's level, so has 180 credits in higher education language. Whereas you can see the SQE 1 and 2 are much smaller courses. So the LLM in legal practice has 180 credits. It's a master's award that you're working towards, and you gain this master's, your LLM, when you have completed the modules and passed, effectively completed SQE 1 and SQE 2 examinations at the Central Assessment Centre, which is run by the Solicitors Regulation Authority, and you've completed the University of Law's extra bolt-on modules, which are part of this new offering, this LLM in legal practice. You've got full assessment support from the University of Law, as you would expect. And what that means is that you have access to our new app, which is going to be on your phone. So you've got access to this enormous bank of SQE1 style questions, these multiple choice style questions for you to practice on, as well as, of course, access to mock exams when you're with us on campus or online. You get a pre-study academic legal knowledge quiz, which means this allows us to diagnose for you how good your knowledge is of your foundation subjects from your law degree or your conversion course, because we are not reteaching those subjects in the LLM or the SQE1 prep course. We can offer, once we have helped you to diagnose where you are, we can help you with online resources to revise those areas, but we are not reteaching them. We have predictive analytics, which means that we are working with you through the app and through your mock assessments to analyze how you're faring and to be able to help you if you're sort of struggling in a particular subject area, so that we can really sort of map out a personal journey for you with that. Your manuals are included in the LLM fee, as is the short exam prep course, the revision course at the end that really sort of hones your knowledge and skills. And there are 2 of those, one for SQE1 and SQE2, all within the price for the LLM legal practice. And of course, in LLM legal practice, because it's a master's, you've got our SQE2 Plus program with lots of extra options to study. But if you just buy the SQE1 prep course standalone, it's 60 credits, although you can use those 60 credits if you change your mind and put them towards an LLM at a later date. You get the assessment support, you get the app and all the bank of SBAQs, single best answer questions. Sorry, can we go on mute? Somebody's not on mute. Thank you. You get the assessments support, as I've described. You get that pre-study analysis to help you find out how good your foundation subject knowledge is. You've got the manuals in the fee and the revision course that runs into your assessment, but you don't get the additional legal content that is part of the master's. And then the SQE2 prep course is just 30 credits. Again, you can put those towards a master's if you want to, once you've passed SQE2, if you change your mind and want to come onto the LLM. You get that assessment support and bank of practice questions, but you don't, on the SQE2, obviously get the pre-study academic knowledge quiz and the predictive analytics, because this is not about passing SQE1 and that foundation level knowledge. This is about skills now. You get the manuals for SQE2 and the revision course for SQE2 in the price, but not the additional content. So here is our flagship program. Let's just sort of talk a little bit about that. Here's the LLM in legal practice. So obviously it delivers all the modules you need for SQE1, all those functioning legal knowledge, that's what the Solicitors Regulation Authority call it, business practice, dispute resolution, real estate, solicitors accounts, wills and probate, so on and so forth. Of course you get that. But you also get these really good stretching new modules. And actually, they are well beloved by law firms because they replicate, they're new and redesigned, but they replicate the electives, the optional modules that are in the legal practice course on the old course. And the firms particularly liked that. So these new modules, these key practice areas are very much desired by the firms, and they are part of the SQE Plus element of the new LLM legal practice. And there are also skills modules for you to choose from as well. We are, as you know, we've discussed learner analytics. We're making sure that we are following your progress by using our learner analytics so that we can give you a personalized journey. We can help you to work, successfully in the areas that you are struggling the most on. We've got these specific models designed for the legal workplace, which are very much these new key practice areas. I'll show you those in a moment. And also, the content there is really to sort of help you develop and gain the skills and the resilience and the behaviours that firms are after. Firms want legal knowledge, of course they do, but that's just the first step for them. They want a fully rounded individual, with a whole raft of skills and behaviours, and this is what this course is helping you to gain. So here we are. Here's the additional content for the new LLM in legal practice. So this, you don't get this if you just do the SQE1 and SQE2. This is the plus content that comes with the LLM, and you can choose 3 of the 20 credit modules, so 3 of the key practice areas, and 3 of the 10 credit modules, the business of law modules, or you can have 4 of the 20 credit modules, 4 key practice areas, and 1 10 credit area. And as you can see, the key practice areas, they're highly reminiscent of the options that the legal practice course students used to be able to, well, still can study. And they are, as I say, really appreciated by the firms because it plays to some of the key practice areas that the firms are delivering to their clients. So corporate practice areas like mergers and debt finance, private client areas, family immigration, personal injury, for example, and then more sort of middle of the road. Lots of firms deliver this sort of commercial practice of advanced real estate, employment, competition, law and intellectual property. And then in terms of business of law, the shorter modules there. So then you've got options in terms of skills, such as personal behaviours and professional behaviours and personal effectiveness, or technology is a module, innovation, technology, legal project management, or indeed the business of law, law firms and their clients. How do they make money? What are their management techniques? What marketing do they do? How do they grow their business? Those sorts of really practical modules. So that gives you a feel then for the LLM. Let's put it in the compare and contrast for timings now, as we did with the conversions. So the LLM in legal practice with its SQE1, SQE2 and those plus modules takes 10 months full-time, 19 months part-time. The SQE1 prep course, which is within that LLM, if you bought that separately, that would be 14 weeks full-time, 27 weeks part-time. And then the SQE2 prep course, which is within the LLM legal practice, but if you bought it separately, would be 10 weeks full-time, 22 weeks part-time. And you can see the amount of total study hours again. That's you preparing for workshops and attending workshops and consolidating after workshops. So it's not all classroom time. In terms then of the courses, again, just giving you a feel for, well, which way would I go and what do I get, with each one. So just to sort of reiterate, the LLM in legal practice, it's got in there, hasn't it? It's got you're buying the SQE1 prep course and the SQE2 prep course, plus the master's element of these key practice knowledge areas that are over and above what the SRA actually prescribe, but we know are well loved by the firms and play to the practice areas they deliver to their clients, plus additional legal skills. Whereas the SQE1 and 2 prep courses are just delivering preparation for that centralised exam. All of them have embedded professional skills, and all of them will get you towards, of course, those centralized assessments. So SQE1 is prepping you for the SQE1 exam, SQE2 prep course for the SQE2 exam. But of course, the LLM in legal practice is preparing you for both of those. And also you will be undergoing University of Law assessments on the SQE Plus, on the master's element, by way of courseworks and presentations. And you get the revision app on your phone in order for you to be able to practice for your SQE1 examination. And you get it for the SQE2 course as well, in order to refresh those knowledge areas, because the skills you're going to be assessed in SQE2 are set in the knowledge areas of SQE1. So you need to keep that knowledge fresh. So it doesn't matter though which course you are going on, whether it's conversion course or it's for the SQE1 preparation, the LLM in legal practice. Well, these are all key points that you would get, key attributes of all courses at the University of Law. So as soon as you accept your place, you get access to our careers team, who are specialized in assisting students in getting work in the law. So as soon as you accept your place, they're there to help you with your pupillage application if you want to be a barrister, or your training contract application if you're on the old route into the solicitor's profession, or your qualifying work experience application if you're on the new route, and of course vacation schemes as well. And indeed, they also have a jobs vacancy database that you're able to access. So lots and lots of support from the careers team. The tutors are there to support you, and all tutors are like me. They are qualified lawyers. So a huge amount of our tutor team at Guildford are qualified solicitors, and just 2 of them are qualified barristers, but they've all got practical experience. Doesn't matter where which course you're doing, we've got these wonderful flexible study options. You can study online, you can study face-to-face, full-time, part-time. Whichever course you're on, you get access to our virtual learning environment. And indeed, as we've talked, in terms of SQE1, you're also getting, aren't you, access to the technology of the new app. Now, it's a new examination, the SQE1, but we are used to delivering preparation for multiple choice exams. We've been doing that for years. So we have been preparing students on the legal practice course for an MCQ exam, because the business law, dispute resolution and real estate exams on the old legal practice course have an MCQ element, a multiple choice element. So we're used to that. The bar course had a multiple choice element, and we've been used to that. So we are well versed in training people for that. We very much have a dynamic learning model. So in other words, it's about engaging with you and making you at the heart of it. So I'll talk a little bit more about that at the moment, but it really is about a student-focused approach. So not lectures, it's about workshops. It's about you reading and getting ready to be able to use the law, apply the law, almost as if you were in the office. Lots of technology we've talked about, including the new app. Of course, you'll get a personal tutor, regardless of which course you're on, who will be concerned for your academic progress and, of course, your personal welfare. And you also get the University of Law's own written manuals, so the manuals we have written specific for our new conversion courses and, of course, for the SQE. And above all, through our app and through our exam preparation course, you get access to an extensive practice assessment bank for SQE1, because the key to SQE1 is going to be being able to read very quickly a short fact pattern, look at the 5 potential answers available to you. This is going to be in the central examination online, and all answers are correct. You have to select the best answer. So it's been quite a skill to passing SQE1. So we've got an extensive assessment bank for you to practice on. And here's the app. So you will have, as we've said, this extensive assessment bank, and it's going to be on your phone. You'll have access to questions on your phone. So practice tests constantly for you to be able to use. And it's going to feed back to us in terms of your progress, so we can help you if you're struggling in a particular area. But it's also intelligent in that if you are, for example, doing well on a particular type of question, that's not going to come up as often. But if you're struggling, it will come around more quickly. And in all of this, because we're focusing on the solicitor's qualifying examination, we mustn't forget that at the end of the day, this is about becoming a practicing solicitor. So it's not just about passing the exam, it's about doing the job well. And so to help you do that, you will become part of ULaw LLP, in other words, a virtual law firm. So when you're in workshops working with the material, the content and the skills, you will be in an environment as if you were in the office, real world type tasks. So effectively simulating what it's like to be in the office and to do those sorts of jobs. Because after all, even on the conversion courses, not many people do the conversion courses, just because they like to. They do it because they want to become a practicing lawyer. So very important that you learn the legal knowledge and then can apply it in a way that works in the office. Our learning style, I've just alluded to, and just to reiterate that, we put a lot of stall by way of students preparing. You're sophisticated learners, you're able to read and sort of internalize the information, and then you prepare by using that information to do some preparatory activities. Then you come to the workshop. It's in the workshop that you are going to learn the most, by engaging with your peers and engaging with the tutor and using that material to solve problems and move transactions on. And at the end of that workshop, you can obviously talk to the tutor afterwards, and we have an open door policy, so you can ask questions. And then afterwards, you'll be back to your home to be consolidating, so that you are consolidating what you've learned, which is going to put you in a position to then roll on and prepare for the next new area, with the previous area fully understood and embedded. Now, fees, obviously that will be of concern. So let's go back to the conversion courses first of all. So the PGDL, MA Law, and the SQE Legal Essentials, you can see the fees there. Where there's a range, that's because some of our campuses charge different fees. So the cheaper, the less costly end of the range will be the northern campuses and the Midlands campuses. And then the London campuses are the most expensive. Obviously, they have higher overheads being in London. So you can see the range of fees there. And then the Solicitors Qualifying Examination Legal Essentials, so SQE Legal Essentials. As you can see, it's a very short course, so it only costs £3,500. But remember, it doesn't, of course, prepare you as thoroughly as the other courses. It can't in 10 weeks, and does rather presuppose that you've got some sort of background in the knowledge in the law of England and Wales. Keep an eye on our website for scholarships for all these conversion courses except for the SQE Legal Essentials. And bear in mind that if you are eligible for a student loan company loan, well, then the student loan company will lend for your first master's course in this jurisdiction. So if you haven't done a master's before, and that's a loan up to £11,222 that you can deploy against your fees for your course or your maintenance. And that is available if you're doing a master's course, so the MA Law conversion or the MA Law SQE1. Do bear in mind that none of these fees cover the cost of sitting the centralised exam. So all University of Law exams are included in the price, but any exams you have to sit centrally, so the SQE1 and SQE2 examination fees are not covered here. The SRA, the Solicitors Regulation Authority, won't allow us to collect in the fees for the examinations from you, or indeed book your place at the central assessment venue. You have to do that yourself. And then here's the preparation for the SQE itself. So here's the LLM legal practice, and there's the range of fees there, the most expensive being London. The prep course, if you buy it alone, there's the range, and the SQE2 prep course, again, there's the range for that. Do notice that there will be scholarships available for the LLM in legal practice, and there will be an alumni discount available for the SQE1 and SQE2 prep courses. So if you've done a conversion course with us and are going on to the SQE1, there'll be an alumni discount. And if you're going on to the SQE2 prep course, having done the SQE1 prep course with us, there'll be an alumni discount. Notice that only the LLM in legal practice gives you access to the government student loan company loan for your first masters. Again, remember, we can't pay your SQE1 and 2 examination fees. They're not included in these fees. You must pay them direct to the examination provider. And then we are very confident in our ability to get you through these exams. So if you are unsuccessful in passing SQE1 the first time, well, then you can repeat our short exam preparation course for free as many times as you need to get through. So that's been a whistle-stop tour of our new portfolio. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you found that informative. I'm really happy now to answer questions, and I'm going to pass over, I think, to Ravina, who is going to look through the questions, perhaps in the chat or that have come through other means. But if you want to ask questions direct of our team, then do feel free to email the email address that's on the slide, international@law.ac.uk, and they'll be able to answer questions there. But Ravina, over to you in terms of any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Sarah, for a really informative session. I'm sure a lot of students got a lot of the questions answered already. So we've got 10 more minutes in this session. So I'm just going to ask any students, if you've got any questions, to put them in the chat. When you do put them in the chat box, just make sure you select everyone so that we're all able to see the question and not send it directly to one of us. So the very first question we've got is from a student named Ali, and he said that he's done a law diploma from a non-common law country. So which course is probably the best suited for him?
Yeah, we find that people coming in often from another jurisdiction just don't have the sort of right knowledge base really for the English, the law of England and Wales. So in that case, I think that in all honesty, a conversion course like the PGDL would give you the depth of knowledge that you would need, because it is a very, very different system if it's a non-common law system. So my advice would be the PGDL. If you felt very confident, maybe the SQE Legal Essentials, but I suspect that might be too fast and furious if you're coming in from a non-common law jurisdiction.
Brilliant, thank you, Sarah. There's also a follow-up question from Ali. So he said, my law degree is below 2.2, but he has more than 10 years of work experience as a lawyer in his country. Would that benefit?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. And certainly our admissions team will look at that. So I don't think that should put you off. Whilst we do have a 2.2 entry requirement, I know admissions will look at other levels of a degree, particularly where there is something else like legal experience. So I think it's still well worth making the application.
Brilliant, thank you. There's a question from Abdul Hakim. He's saying that he has his first degree in history and heritage management. Can he apply for a law course with that background?
Yes, absolutely. Basically, I think the law welcomes graduates of all disciplines, and I teach students who have got all sorts of backgrounds, ranging from art students in terms of sort of history, and humanities students in terms of geography, and then scientists. It's lots people with music degrees. So it really doesn't matter. What matters is developing the new skills and the new knowledge base.
Yeah, there's this question that can be quite relevant for a lot of students who are here because they're all international students. So the student says, I'm not familiar with English law. Which courses would be suitable for me, and which of these courses can teach me to prepare for the SQE1?
Okay, so in terms of, I think if you're not familiar with English law at all, it has to be one of the three conversion courses, the PGDL, the MA Law Conversion, or the MA Law SQE1. And in terms of, I think in terms of making sure you've got the knowledge base for SQE1, then any of those three would work. Obviously, MA Law SQE1 has got the PGDL in it, and also the SQE1. So you're already down the road, aren't you? You're getting the preparation course for SQE1 in a one-stop shop. But the great news is that our new conversion courses, whichever one you're on, PGDL, MA Law Conversion, or MA Law SQE1, all of them are giving you exposure to not just the foundation subjects, but also some single best answer questions. So we're already getting you ready for the SQE1. But so any of those three would work very well. But if you're particularly keen to get on quickly, then obviously the MA Law SQE1 is good, because it's a bit of a one-stop shop, isn't it?
Brilliant, thank you, Sarah. There's a question from a student from Iraq. She's saying, I finished in a psychology department. They're not currently quite ready to study law yet, but I think they're asking for an intermediate course that could kind of help them bridge the gap between doing a generic degree to a law degree.
That's quite tricky, actually. I'm not really very sure on something that's in between the two, if you know what I mean. I mean, obviously, you know, something like the SQE Legal Essentials will give you the very bare bones of the English legal system if you wanted to sort of dip your toe and see whether it was for you. But I'm not really sure of a course that sort of straddles sort of, you know, sort of a non-law and a law. That's quite a tricky one. But I mean, you might want to think about, you know, just looking for some, you know, doing some, you know, reading around, the, you know, the English legal system and just seeing if it genuinely interests you. That's certainly something you could do.
Yeah. Would a foundation program be beneficial for someone like that?
Yes, and certainly the University of Law and many universities now have foundation programs. You're absolutely right. And if I think about our foundation to our undergraduate law degree, there's a lot there that is actually, you know, really good bedrocks in terms of, you know, academic practice and academic practice in the law, you know, how to read cases, how to read statute, how to construct a good essay. And indeed, it includes things even like numeracy. So it's a really good foundation, unsurprisingly, and lots of universities do that, and we certainly do.
Yeah, sounds good. So we've got a couple of questions from YouTube that I'm just going to read off now. So there's a question about what conversion and professional courses are eligible for the graduate route, which is the post-study work visa. And they're particularly interested if the barrister training course is eligible for a PSW.
I'm going to pass over to Katrin because she is an absolute expert on this. If Katrin can unmute her, she is.
Hi everyone. I'm Katrin. I am the representative of the international office at the University of Law. So I'm not actually an expert on this, but yeah. So the bar practice course does qualify for the post-study work visa, definitely, and also the our LLM course, which is the SQE1 and SQE2 course, does also qualify for the post-study work visa. So essentially, the course that is a full-time, where you get the undergraduate qualification or a postgraduate qualification, or obviously we don't offer PhD, but or a PhD qualification from the UK university, it does qualify for the post-study work visa. Obviously, there are some terms and conditions to it, but the best place to actually have all the information about the post-study work visa is our website, the visa page on our website, which has just been updated because we have just received confirmation from the UK government regarding the visa. So I would suggest to visit our website and have a read about it in more detail. And perhaps if Raj has anything to add to what I've just said.
I think you've covered everything, Katrin. I think till the time the BPC is covered with the LLM, I think that will be the safest option when it comes to the graduate work route.
Yeah. So you can actually add a LLM to a BPC program as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. I think we've got time for maybe 2 more quick questions. I'm just going to read them off the chat box. Bear with me 1 second. So there's a question from a student from South Africa saying, can he apply with a diploma? Would that be sufficient?
I don't think that's going to be. Katrin, do you know anything about this? I'm just apply for what I think is the answer. Are we talking about applying for conversion or applying for the LLM legal practice SQ1, SQE2?
Yes, I'll ask the student who has posted the question if they can kind of provide us with a little bit more detail, then we'll be able to answer it a bit better. In the meantime, we've got a follow-up question from Ali. He said he's going to, it was the person who asked us a few questions at the beginning. So he said he's going to apply through LawCab. How long does it take to get a decision from the University of Law?
It's very quick. So the LawCabs release the applications to us weekly. And then as soon as we get them, I think they're midweek they're released. And then as soon as we get them, we can normally turn them around, usually within about 48 hours. So I think you all told, you know, often the SWIFT therefore is under 2 weeks, if it's a straightforward application.
Brilliant. And he's asking that if he gets an offer, can he change city or campus and the starting date?
Yes. Yes, you can. You can certainly change campus by contacting admissions, and assuming the other campus has space, then you're able to do that. Usually that's not a problem. Start date, again, shouldn't be a problem. Effectively, you're deferring. So there's a little bit of sort of make sure you're within the right time frame. I'm not going to go into that sort of detail here, but usually there's no problem with deferring.
Okay. For the student who asked about the diploma, it's for a legal practice course.
Sorry, legal practice course, the Old Star course.
Yes.
So no, for the legal practice course, well, in order to do the legal practice course, you've either got to have a law degree or a degree and a conversion course, if it's full time. So I don't think a diploma will be enough, but I would really suggest that the student emails in the international@law.ac.uk with their own personal circumstances, so we can just double check. I would really recommend that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm afraid that's all the time we've got for questions, but we've got a copy of this presentation on YouTube. So for any students who want to go back and rewatch some bits, I'm just going to post the link here in the chat. And we've got the contact details on the slide as well. So do feel free to contact the University of Law, or you can also contact SIUK at info@studyin-uk.com. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And thanks, Sarah, for the presentation.
Not at all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks very much. Thanks to the SIUK team as well.
Thanks, Raj. We'll close this meeting in a minute or two.
Sure.